Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about all of the movies I watched in the month of June. So, I feel like I've watched a pretty good amount of movies here. I watched a total of about 24 movies. Some of these movies I did already make videos on, so I'm not going to be talking about those ones. Thank God, because I feel like this video would be like an hour long if I did that. So yeah, let me just go ahead and get right into it. So the first movie I watched, actually on the very first day of the month, was Jennifer's Body. This came out in 2009 and it stars Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried. And it is about a girl who becomes possessed and she goes on a killing spree of all of her male classmates. And her best friend kind of is just trying to deal with this and knowing that her best friend is a killer, but also trying to like protect her friend at the same time. Yeah, I really like this movie. I think it's pretty cheesy, but like in a good way. And it also has, it has a lot of comedy in it. I'm glad that this movie kind of gained in popularity and is becoming a cult classic. The next film I watched was It from 2017. And this one is about a group of kids who live in Derry, Maine, and they have to deal with kind of their real life problems as well as trying to kill this creature, this clown that lives in their town and kind of uses their fears to kill them. And so yeah, this movie, I love this movie. When this movie first came out, I watched it I think 2 different times in theaters. And I just love it. I think all of the actors in this do a great job. And I think this also does a really good job at balancing like comedic aspects as well as, the true like scary, horrific scenes. And I do like the way that they kind of showed different scenes than the original It movie. I think going into this, I was kind of expecting them to kind of not follow exactly the way the other movie went, but I guess I didn't realize how much was left out of that first movie in comparison to this one. So I feel like I did think they did a good job at kind of taking the things that weren't in the first film and putting them in this one. So kind of it still felt like a fresh new movie that you're watching, but still have like, obviously the same story. I don't know if that made sense, but it makes sense to me. And yeah, I just really love this movie. And the next movie I watched was a musical, and it was In the Heights, which came out this year, and it's on HBO Max, I believe. And this follows Usnavi, who owns a little bodega in Washington Heights, and he has a dream of going back to the Caribbean where his family is from and opening up a little like restaurant bar thing. But I think he's kind of struggling with this because he has there's a big community where he lives in Washington Heights, in the Latin community, and kind of just like him feeling like he is longing for home, but kind of also coming to terms with the fact that that is his home and that is his community. So it's kind of, at odds, like, should I stay or should I go type of thing. And so the first time I watched this movie, I didn't really enjoy it. I thought it was kind of more of like an adult High School Musical. At least some of the scenes, the way that they shot them, I thought of that. Like, it reminded me of High School Musical. And I didn't like the way they shot like the 96,000 scene. I felt like, I don't know, maybe it was just like the pool in general and how they used that. And I don't know, it just seemed kind of silly to me. And I think some of the acting was kind of like they overacted some of the scenes. But after watching it a couple of times now, I have learned to really like this movie. And I do still think that there are some aspects that are overacted or that are kind of corny and stuff. But I think overall, as a movie, I really enjoyed it. And I like the message of like, community and kind of like embracing your heritage and your roots and where you come from. And kind of also just building your own community. My favorite song was Paciencia y Fe. Next movie I watched is House LLC. This one came out in 2015, and it's about a group of friends who are trying to open a haunted house, and kind of, I think the haunted house that they're trying to open is in an actual haunted house, and so it's kind of them trying to open this haunted house tour, but also kind of dealing with like paranormal stuff that's happening. And then it seems like some of them are kind of like getting possessed and all that stuff. And this is a found footage film. And I don't know if I just don't really enjoy found footage films, but I did not like this movie at all, really. Almost didn't even want to finish it when I watched it, but I just forced myself to finish it because I'm like, well, I'm already here, might as well go ahead and finish it. But yeah, I don't know. I just think the acting was bad. I don't know. I just don't care for it. Next, I watched Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone, and this one came out in 2001. Obviously, it stars Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. So yeah, I mean, my husband was the one who actually recommended that we start watching these films again. We've been both wanting to watch the Harry Potter films again. And I think I am going to do another video where I rank these films as well. So I don't want to give too much of my thoughts now, but I do enjoy this movie. And we specifically enjoy talking, it's not smack, but when we watch films together, we do kind of like to joke about how kind of cheesy they are, like point out the silly things in them. And we have been doing that a lot in these films, and it's just been really enjoyable. So the next film that I watched was Tragedy Girls. This one came out in 2017. So this follows two girls who are obsessed with like murders. Like they are like true crime queens, but they are the ones that are committing the crimes in order to be able to talk about them. And so basically they are trying to like stir the pot essentially and create all these murders in order so that they can get their names out there in like the true crime community and stuff. And kind of things go a little bit too far for them and they kind of get themselves in some trouble. I've never watched this. I mean, this is my first time watching this movie, and I've been wanting to watch it. It's been on my like to watch list or whatever for forever, and then I finally was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it now. Oh my god, I thought this one was so good. I love the way that they decided to like edit and shoot this film. I said I was gonna watch some comedies this month, and I feel like I did actually watch a good amount of comedies. This one was very funny, and I don't know, I just really loved the way that they kind of chose to shoot it. It was kind of childlike in a sense, like, you know, like how a teenager would edit a video or something like that. Oh, yeah, one thing I did think was kind of funny though was instantly when Jack Quaid's character came on the screen, me and my husband were like, dude, that guy is not in high school. That guy is like 50. No, okay, he's not 50. I'm exaggerating. He's like 30 years old or something. And we just thought it was hilarious. But then like right after we kind of said that, the movie, one of the characters was saying like, oh, he was held back a year or something like that. I'm like, oh, I like how they had to put that line in there so to let the audience know that they also know that he looks old. Next movie I watched was Willys Wonderland. This one came out in 2021. I thought it came out in 2020, but on here it says 2021. This one stars Nicolas Cage. And this is about a guy who is a quiet loner who agrees to clean an abandoned family fun center in exchange for repairs. He soon finds himself waging war against possessed animatronic mascots while trapped inside Willys Wonderland. Okay, so with this film, I don't know why I had such a strong desire to watch this movie, but I did, and it was a complete letdown. Literally, Nicolas Cage had no lines the whole movie, and we were just like kind of waiting for him to say something. And it also kind of seemed like this movie was like trying to be like ad placement type thing, even though I don't think the thing that he was trying to like showcase was even a real product, but it seemed like that's what he was trying to do. And yeah, it was just an all-around dumb movie. But like, even though it was stupid, it was still kind of entertaining in its own way as well, because we got to laugh at how dumb it was. So, I mean, if you like to laugh at how dumb movies are, which actually we do enjoy quite a lot in this house, you might enjoy it. But yeah, literally, Nicolas Cage had no words, and I was like, man, I wonder if they like got a discount on paying him because they didn't actually have any lines for him. Ooh, another comedy. So I also watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin. This one came out in 2005, and it stars Steve Carell, Paul Rudd. Who else does it have? Seth Rogen. It's about this 40-year-old guy named Andy who he hasn't had sex yet, and it's really kind of bothering him. He's kind of become a little, not obsessed with it, but he has become a little down in the dumps about it. And then he befriends his coworkers who are like kind of now on the mission, the hunt to find him someone to have sex with for the first time. And then he also simultaneously starts dating this woman and kind of is starting to get more serious with her. This movie is awesome. I love Steve Carell. I love Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen. This movie is just hilarious. Watching it though this time around, there obviously are some problematic things to it because comedy just doesn't really age well in general, like at all. But if you can kind of ignore that for an hour or so, I think you will enjoy it. Obviously, who hasn't watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin? But yeah, I love this movie. It's hilarious. Next movie I watched was Run. This came out in 2020, and it stars Sarah Paulson, Kiera Allen, and it is about a girl whose name is Chloe. She's a teenager who is confined to a wheelchair, is homeschooled by her mother, Diane. Chloe soon becomes suspicious of her mother and begins to suspect that she may be harboring a dark secret. This movie, this was so good, so dramatic. I remember there was a lot of drama, tense moments. I was also kind of surprised by it. I feel like this movie was very quick paced. I wasn't expecting there to be a lot of action to it, but I mean, not action. I wasn't expecting it to just kind of be like, bam, okay, let's have this girl start figuring things out. But I feel like almost immediately she started like having suspicions about her mom or whatever. Obviously, Sarah Paulson is a great actress and she freaking acted the hell out of this character. And it did remind me of the whole Gypsy Blanchard story a little bit. The next film I watched was Pure. This came out in 2019, and I believe it's I think it's a Hulu original. The teen girls perform a secret ritual at a purity retreat, and when one of them begins to see a supernatural entity, the terrifying question becomes, what is more dangerous, the demon they've unleashed or the pressure of their controlling fathers? So I think this takes kind of the whole like purity father, I don't know what they are, like not purity balls, I think they're purity balls. But anyways, where like dads take their daughters to these little like pure ball dances, and then they like vow to their fathers that they're not going to have sex or whatever. So it takes that already creepy thing and then turns it into like a whole like like demonic-esque type of thing. I liked this movie overall. I think it was kind of like a little bit on the nose in what it was trying to say. Like obviously they were trying to make a commentary on these types of balls and like women taking ownerships of themselves over like kind of being the possession of their fathers or men in general. The ending-ish scene where one of the girls kind of becomes possessed by the demon or whatever. I see where they were going with it, but it was fell a little short on, I think, having the like oomph or power that it was trying to have behind it. But I think overall, it was a good film. I enjoyed it. It just was a little lacking in some aspects. I think the acting was all fine and dandy. It was just, like some of like, the technical stuff, like making it sound spooky or making her actually sound like she was possessed kind of fell a little bit short. The next movie I watched, or next special, I guess this is called, again, comedy. I'm watching a lot of comedies this month, was Bo Burnham's Inside Little Comedy Special. And this is the one where he like was in his house and he shot it alone. It's all written and directed, whatever, shot by him. I liked it. It was funny. I feel like some of it was kind of falling though. Like I felt like it was all like funny. And then it kind of started not being as funny towards the end of it. But I enjoyed it. And last but not least, the final film I watched this month is one I actually watched earlier today, and that is Jack Reacher. This came out in 2012 and it stars Tom Cruise. When a gunman takes 5 lives with 6 shots, all evidence points to the suspect in custody. On interrogation, the suspect offers up a single note: "Get Jack Reacher." So begins an extraordinary chase for the truth, pitting Jack Reacher against an unexpected enemy with the skill for violence and a secret to keep. Another good movie. I feel like I always am drawn to action films that star Tom Cruise for some reason. But when I was watching this one today, because I've seen this one like a million times, when I was watching it today, I was becoming more aware of kind of the corniness of it, or the way in which Tom Cruise delivers like his like one-liners, like the little like, "Hey," and that seemed kind of corny to me, but like still I enjoyed the movie overall. I like the story itself and kind of the idea of like having this like badass investigator cop dude coming in who's like kind of a outcast-ish, or he's like what is it called? A drifter dude who kind of comes and tries to solve this case. But it was also interesting to me because I'm like, okay, the guy he was, I guess, essentially trying to help wasn't necessarily a good guy. Yeah, he was innocent in the crime in which that people thought he had committed, but he wasn't a good guy. So, like, I don't get why they were working so hard to help him. But I mean, I guess, like, it was good because then they found the true people that were the bad ones. But it was just funny to me after the fact. I was like, wait, why is he trying to help this dude if he, like, doesn't even like him? Oh, this was also the first movie that I watched that had, I forgot to even mention it, Rosamund Pike is in it. I don't know why I didn't mention her. But this is the first film I ever watched with her in it. And obviously she's a great actress as well, and she does a very good job. But yeah, those were all the movies I watched. I feel like it actually didn't take me quite as long to talk about them because well, then again, I did have to skip a lot of movies because I'm talking about them in other videos. But those are all the films I watch. I actually think I did a pretty good job in watching more comedies this month than previous months because I know I said I was going to try and work a little bit harder at watching some comedies. But yeah, those are all the films that I watched this month. Let me know what you watched this month and maybe what you're interested in watching next month or more looking forward to. I know I have actually quite a few films that I'm looking forward to watching next month. Mainly like new releases and stuff like that. And yeah, but that is it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.